As organizations become more complex, trust and collaboration become increasingly important. When the lines of communication break down, it can lead to inefficiencies, mistrust, and disengagement. A lack of confidence can be one of the leading causes of disengagement in any organization. Leaders must change how they approach decision-making to build trust and collaboration within an organization. This involves incorporating an evidence-based information cycle into the decision-making process. Leaders must identify the evidence regarding a topic or question their organization is considering. There are multiple ways that this might be done, example, through an analysis of existing data. Once this evidence has been identified, it should be summarized for future reference and shared with other key stakeholders so that they can access it when answering similar questions in the future, also known as cues. Leaders must use this evidence to answer questions using logical reasoning rather than relying on biases or personal beliefs, i.e., consequences. Assess opportunities and identify key aspirations. To successfully implement an evidence-based information cycle, leaders must prioritize key actions to help them achieve their desired results. This is where the opportunity assessment comes in. Leaders should conduct a thorough and thoughtful evaluation of what needs to be accomplished to get closer to the desired goal. Finally, leaders must identify key aspirations to help them reach their goals. The evidence-based information cycle can be applied in many different ways depending on the situation and how it fits within your organization. As such, it can be used for various purposes, from identifying opportunities for growth within your organization to assessing the likely impacts of proposed decisions. Ask questions that can be answered using evidence-based resources. Leaders should repeatedly ask questions that can be answered using evidence-based resources such as articles, research, and assessments. This way, the organization can build a culture of trust and collaboration. During training sessions, leaders should teach their team members how to find and use these resources. When asking questions during daily business operations or meetings, leaders should use logical reasoning to produce better results. For example, if a salesperson has been unable to close a sale in their territory for 3 consecutive weeks, they might ask themselves, what is the most likely cause of this? To answer this, leaders could research articles based on what other salespeople have experienced when closing deals. They could ask their sales manager which other factors are influencing weekly sales. From there, they could make a decision based on what evidence-based information they have found and then implement that decision by sharing it with the rest of their team. Acquire evidence using selected pre-appraised resources. There are many ways in which leaders can identify and collect evidence as it applies to their organization. For example, leaders might use data compiled by others, review articles from various sources, and analyze facts about the topic. Using this evidence will help leaders reach conclusions that are well-founded rather than relying on personal bias or the opinion of others. Leaders must also consider how they want to answer questions using logical reasoning when using evidence to ensure they are not being swayed into making decisions that don't align with their values. This is particularly important when leaders must decide whether or not to take action based on the information collected. To balance these considerations, leaders should clearly understand what consequences could arise if they took action based on their logic, example, reduce unemployment, increase the quality of education. Appraise the validity, importance, and applicability of evidence that has been discovered and then decide what course of action should be taken. The evidence that has been discovered is valid and important, and it should be applied to the situation that is being faced. The appropriate course of action would be to use the evidence to make the best decision possible. Apply evidence to opportunities. In your business, evidence is critical to growing trust and collaboration in an organization. Naturally, the most immediate way to build it is through decision-making. But a significant amount of trust can also be built by actions aligned with company values, like those mentioned above. Learn more at business901.com.